What is up, watch friends? Welcome to Friday, another episode of Talking Timepieces with Tony, the Q&A, the slowest growing watch channel on YouTube. It's true, man. I don't know. I see some of these channels going big, man. Mine just please subscribe. By doing so is what helps me stay motivated to do videos for you guys. It's all about you, not so much about me at all, really. But either way, it's Friday and it's the Q&A, and we do this every Friday. And if you would like to have a question featured on the Q&A, all you got to do is leave your question in the comments below on this video, and they'll be featured. All right. Today I am wearing the Cartier Ballon Bleu 36 millimeter guilloche dial. The cool thing about this watch is 18 karat white gold. I'll do a video on it. Anyway, so let's roll the intro and we'll get into the Q&A. All right, so the first question comes from Ristopia4101. What watch to wear to a watch show event? I tend to avoid anything flashy, show off, and wear something that fits with the show and or people might find genuinely interesting. I don't know. I mean, I think, yeah, I mean, that's what I would do. But if you're going to a watch show specifically, especially if it's luxury watches, man, you're going to see anything from RMs, Pateks, Maurice Grossman to Rolex to whatever. You know what I mean? So I think if it was me, I would probably, knowing me, I would probably wear a Swatch or something just to sort of do that. I don't know. Or I would wear my Zenith. It just depends on the mood. I probably wouldn't wear a Rolex. But I don't know, it just depends. It depends on the show too. So, it's a tough one, but yeah, it's probably something a little bit understated, under the radar, so to speak. But, thanks for that, man. Appreciate it. This comes from MG Guzman B. Hi, Tony. Question for you. What is the importance of chronometry, e.g. COSC, Metis, superlative chronometer, etc., in the future of watches and in your particular consideration to purchase new watches? Some luxury brands pay significant consideration to precision and accuracy of their watches, like Rolex and Omega. Many others don't clarify their watches, but they even often don't provide specifications for accuracy and precision of their movements. Funny that everyone reports power reserve like that would be a major factor of quality. Dude, I get that. Personally try to only buy watches that are either certified for chronometry standards or they provide specifications of precision and accuracy. Would love hearing your thoughts. Yeah, I mean, that's a big thing, isn't it? But it also depends on the brand. You know what I mean? When you take something right like a Rolex, those watches are superlative chronometers. What chronometry is, chronometer certification is when a watch company makes a certain movement, then they send them to COSC, C-O-S-C, to get it certified. So it's accurate +6, -4 seconds a day, something like that. And those movements all have to be tested. And once they're certified, they go back to the watchmaker, and then the watchmaker, assembles the watch, and now you've got a COSC certified movement. So if you've seen anything chronometer certified, things like that, that's what that means. Rolex go one step above that, where they they have the superlative chronometer. So they get it certified, then they get the watch back, then they case the watch up, and then they do additional testing on that watch depending on angles and things like that. It's now basically the superlative chronometer is +2, -2 seconds a day. And then you've got like meta certification, which is something that Omega do and Tudor are now doing in their watches. And so that also helps with accuracy, magnetism, just additional testing. Some brands don't do that, and that's okay. Like Seiko, for instance, aren't going to do that. You're not going to find a chronometer in a Seiko. Well, you might, but I don't know enough about Seiko to know that. But your standard generic off the shelf Seikos aren't. You take something like a Zenith El Primero. This is not chronometer certified. This is not a COSC certified watch, but they do have watches that are certified. And Zenith has got so much history and heritage that I don't care. Granted, I had an issue with my first one of the Pilot watch, but that was just a fluke. I've got a Mont Blanc that is not COSC certified, and that thing keeps amazing time. I don't wear it anymore really, but when I do, I mean, it does. It keeps absolutely amazing time. Cartier, when you get the 1847 MC movement, Cartiers are probably, to me, equal in being regulated as close to Rolex as anything else. I mean, because you can get watches that are COSC certified that definitely, they'll sway, they'll go off, so. But if it doesn't, anyway, if it doesn't, it just depends on the brand for me. So if it doesn't say it's COSC certified, it's not going to turn me off the watch. It just depends on the brand. Hope that helps, man. Thanks for your question. Jim Watson 6363. Tony, love your stuff. Yeah, I love yours too, whatever that may be. Every now and then I see you with a Warner Brothers hat on. Did you or do you work for them? My uncle was an artist for Hanna-Barbera. That's cool. I had a friend who was an artist at Hanna-Barbera as well. He did background for the Flintstones. That's freaking awesome. Is your background in art or just in music? Love your GMT. My next watch is that or the root beer. Right on, man. Appreciate your question. I get so many comments about Warner Brothers, and, to try to put it in a nutshell, I'm from LA. I'm from Hollywood. I grew up in the film industry. I've been on the Warner Brothers lot since I was a little kid, really, movie sets and things like that, because my dad was in the industry. I have music related things with Warner Brothers. And so I also had a lot of friends who worked at Warner Brothers. My best friend, Chris, who just passed away just a little over a year ago, was an animator on Animaniacs, Pinky and the Brain, Pinky Elmira and the Brain, and just a ton of other things. And way back in the day, I used to do cartoon voices. And I did like a couple of cartoon voiceover tapes, CDs, to try to get myself in that industry as a cartoon voiceover. And my favorite cartoons, of course, were Warner Brothers cartoons. So, I came super close. I got as high as you can get and as close as you could get to doing it. And one aspect, I was one time at a bar and I was doing all the voices. And of course, I can do, other people's voices, but you're not going to get anywhere doing that. You got to create original voices. And that's what I was doing too. And I caught the attention of a girl who was she was the casting director for Fox, for The Simpsons and Fox Network. And, it's not just cartoons. They do voiceover, like if you're like, whatever, Sunday night, Friday, I mean, like it might be a movie or whatever, I don't know. I can't even do it because I can't think of anything right now. And anyway, she came up and started talking to me, and she's like, "Oh my God, you're fucking really good." Blah blah blah. The whole thing. I'm going to take you to a party. I'm going to introduce you to agents. Blah blah blah. The whole thing. I went with her, and I made the mistake of hanging out with her a little too long, so to speak. If you get my drift, and that kind of screwed that up. But I also know Roger Bumpass. His name's Bumpass, but he's the voiceover for Squidward on SpongeBob SquarePants. I used to see him all the time at just down the street here at a local bar, and we used to talk a lot. He's a grumpy guy, and then I got to know him, and then I gave him my CD, and then he was like, "Oh my God, you were actually really, really good. Call my agent at William Morris." Blah blah blah. So it's a long story. There's a lot of connection with Warner Brothers there, man. So, but in the short of it, it was like, even for the casting director and the director for Animaniacs, they really liked my tape. But the thing is even when you're doing cartoon voiceovers, it's still an acting gig, and I wasn't an actor. I would have been a voice actor, but I wasn't a member of the union, Screen Actors Guild. And so they can grandfather you in. It's called Taft-Hartley. But it didn't get, you know, something happened. I can't really remember, but it just kind of didn't happen. Oh, I know what happened. Sorry. Warner Brothers Animation went boom, crashed into the ground after they did a cartoon called Hysteria. Everything got outsourced, and then the whole industry changed, and it was like bad timing. Thanks for your question. uh, Brutalson. Um, hey, Tony, love your channel, passion and honesty. Thank you. I appreciate it. So I hope you're subscribed. I need to stay motivated. What's your opinion on the Rolex Sea Dweller? If you had to add one to your collection, be it a discontinued or current model, which would you choose and why? I wouldn't. I'm not a Sea Dweller fan. It's too big. It's too bulky. I would never wear it. You know, but you're saying if I had to have one, it'd probably be the James Cameron, just because I like the dial, you know. But other than that, I just, yeah, I mean, it's a great watch if you've got big wrists. I got 6.5-inch wrists, dude. It's not going to work, you know. But thanks for your question. This comes from @dflimsy. Hey Tony, question about anti-reflective coating on some of the newer Rolex models. I'm wondering if you know if more recent Datejust 36 models, such as your Wimbledon, now have underside AR coating as designated by the crystal etching. I have a 2020 blue dial and it doesn't, but considering a new silver dial variant and concerned about the legibility. Appreciate your thoughts and all the content. Thanks, dude. No, I don't know. I almost want to say down by the date when I'm looking at it, I can see a tint of blue, which tells me that there probably is AR coating on it on the underside. It is It's not the silver dial. Datejust was very difficult for me to read, man. You know, and that's why I got rid of it. I had one, and then the Wimbledon is more legible than the silver because it's slate gray, so it's a little bit darker and it's more sun ray. It's, you know, so but it's still a little bit not as easy to read, you know. I mean, I still have to have my glasses on, you know what I mean? So but yeah, and I should have looked up on that a little bit more, but I think it might have. So sorry, dude, if I didn't quite get your answer, but I appreciate your comment. This next one comes from @458V8. Hi, Tony. What are your thoughts on the new Zenith Defy white ceramic skeleton with blue dial? Are you going to buy one? Happy 4th. Hi to Uku and Paco. Well, Uku's right here. I don't know where Paco is. He's right over there. But they say hi back. What do I think of it? First of all, no, I won't buy one. No. It's too white for me, you know. All white ceramic, but it's got a blue skeleton dial. It's got the El Primero 3610 movement. It's a beautiful watch, you know, if you like that all white, but then you've got the blue skeletonized movement. So it really essentially has the same movement in the stainless steel version, just put into white ceramic. And I think it's very nice looking, but I mean, I wouldn't buy one simply because it's $17,500. But it is a nice watch. I think it's cool. I love the Defies. I love Zenith, you know. So, but thanks for your question, dude. I appreciate it. David Parrish Productions 5082. What's up, David? How are you, man? I hope you had a good 4th. I hope everyone had a good 4th. For those of you in the United States, it's not a weekend without my friend Tony Gamble. Thank you, dude. Love the new Santos. Thank you. Me too. If you could take your favorite Rolex and improve it, what would you do to make it even better? Cheers. You know, with Rolex, nothing, you know. I think they're just, for some reason, you know, and this is just my opinion, you know, other people will be like, yeah, I would have done this, and this, whatever. They're perfect just the way they are as far as I'm concerned, or at least the ones I have, you know what I mean? I think the GMT is flawless. I think the Datejust is flawless. I think the OP is flawless. There's nothing I would change on those watches, man. You know, they're just phenomenal watches. So thanks for your question. Always appreciate it, Dave. This next one comes from Jack Samby 7825. Hi, Tony. This is Jack from the UK. Hi, Jack from the UK. How you doing today, mate? Hey. That was terrible. How's it going? I should quit. Never mind. I can't do anything today with voices, man. It's like whatever. Uh, First, this is a stunning dial. I'm assuming you're talking about my Cartier Santos. Second, you have really now put me in a dilemma, and I'll explain why. A few months ago on your Q&A, you advised me to buy the white dial Rolex Datejust over the silver dial Datejust, which I did, and I'm so glad I took your advice, as I simply love the white dial Datejust. Thank you for taking my advice. I was now about to purchase the Cartier Santos Large in green dial, but after watching this video, I'm seriously thinking about going for the Sunray brown dial. Please, could you again give me your valuable advice and tell me which model to go for? I know you mentioned that the green was a bit too dark, and but were there any other reasons you went for the brown over the green dial? Which color do you think us watch enthusiasts are unlikely to get bored with in the long run? Thank you, and I look forward to hearing from you soon. Keep up the great videos. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. With the blue one, it's not legible enough for me. I don't know why the brown one's more legible. The green one, I mean, I have green dial watches. I love green, but it's too dark. But and I'm not gonna. I don't think I tried it on. I just looked at it, and I don't know how legible that one is. So the brown stuck out to me because it's just different. It's not blue like so many other watches. It's not green like so many other watches. It's that brown fume sunray dial that just stands out, and it sort of pops, and it's different. Nobody has it. I say nobody has it. There's obviously a lot of people that have it, but it's one of those ones that it really caught my eye, and that's all it is. If you don't, okay, so here's the thing. If you, depending on how many watches you have and what your dial variations are, I would always say it's probably better to stick with the original silver opaline dial. I mean, that's the cleanest configuration out of all of them, and it's the most iconic out of all of them. It's super legible. It's a beautiful watch, and it's not I'm going to say anyone can get sick of a watch, you know what I mean? But there's fads when it comes to colored watches and dials, you know what I mean? The Tiffany blue was like the perfect example of, oh my God, everything had to be Tiffany blue once that Rolex came out, and then the Patek came out, the 5711 with the Tiffany blue. Every company was just shoving that color down your throat. And that's what they do. I mean, that's fashion. That's what fashion does. They shove everything down your throat until you're sick of it, until you find it in a thrift store because they moved on, you know what I mean, to what's next, you know what I mean? So it's a hurry up, shove everything down your throat and move on. But there's always that classic piece that stays in the line, and that's the classic Santos color, the classic Cartier watch. This is classic. It's the original, you know what I mean? So it's like, so I mean, you can go for a color, but, and if you want the brown, get the brown, man, try it on. But, I would almost just recommend going with the opaline. That's just me. Thanks for your question, dude. Shady Optics. Enjoy your vids, Tony. Really like your new Cartier Santos. What was your thought process around choosing the large size versus the medium? That's on the Santos again. Yeah, it's all about what fits your wrist, man. The medium's a little bit too small, and the large feels a little bit too big. If they just kind of squash it down just a little bit more to like a 38, 37 and a half, because it'll wear bigger because of the fact that it's square. So, I mean, I made that mistake before when I bought the opaline dial one. I bought the medium, and then like a week later I sold it and then went back and bought the large. You know what I mean? It's like, and then I just prefer the large for some reason with that. I mean, it does look a little large, but what are you gonna do? So that's pretty much what that is. Thanks for your question, dude. Ilogitech or Ilogis 7Ek 74. Hey Tony, hope you're well. Keep up the good work. Thank you. Awesome videos, dude. Thank you. I like your no bullshit approach. Thank you. Question, looking back over time, was there anything in your watch collecting you would have done differently? Is there anything that was really important to you during the years of collecting watches that isn't really that important to you these days? I'd be interested to know your thoughts. Thanks, man. I don't know. Is there anything I would do different? I don't know. I think it's all just part of it. You know what I mean? Like life. You know what I mean? If you can go through your entire life and at the end of it go, I don't have any regrets. You've been successful. You know what I mean? I've made some bad decisions and couple things. But I think with watches, it's like I wouldn't be where I am now if it wasn't for what I've purchased in the past. You know what I mean? And that's part of collecting, man. You do, or the journey. You might buy something, you go, or you might be into something and you're like, I used to be into all the complications, man. When I was younger, dude, I wanted everything, man. I wanted that full perpetual calendar from Patek Philippe, but then you get older and then, you realize that your things shift. I like easier, more legible, three hands, you know what I mean? No date on this, there's a date on my, that, but just real simple. I just want to be able to see what time it is. I want to know that I've got a nice watch on, but it doesn't have to be freaking overbearing with too many complications. You know what I mean? So that's it. And I don't know about any, as far as what's not important, I would still love to have an annual calendar Patek, but that's just because of the history and what that watch represents, you know what I mean? And not for the complications. And so, yeah. So thanks for your question, dude. I appreciate it. Mike Clayton, too. Hey, Tony, love your content. I have the new, thank you. I have the new reference Black Bay 41 monochrome on order with a rubber strap. Good for you, dude. Congratulations. I love having a watch on a rubber strap for warm weather. I was curious whether you think Rolex would ever sell steel watches with an Oyster Flex bracelet. I think it would be great. I have a Batgirl and I absolutely love the Jubilee bracelet, but I think it would be cool on an Oyster Flex if they ever did that. Thanks. I don't know, dude. I can't answer that. And no one knows what Rolex is going to do, but you can always get an aftermarket strap, But I know that the Oyster Flex is a whole different thing because Oyster Flex has, I don't know, that's like metal in that bracelet. So it's not really so much just rubber, FKM rubber or anything. It's just straight up, it's got something in it. I'm not sure exactly what it is that holds the structure of that strap. And of course it's extremely comfortable and it will last an awful long time. So if they do it, cool, and if they don't, they don't, but at least you're going to get your tutor. Congratulations. This question comes from Michael Saraceno 34. Hey, Tony, love the channel and hope all is well. I have my name down at an AD for a GMT Master 2 and a Yacht Master, and my AD has not given me any inclinations on how long the wait will be. A second AD wouldn't even put my name down for a Yacht Master, saying steel sports models have an incredibly long wait list, and asked if I was interested in anything else. I understand the waiting game, but I'm not getting good vibes from my local rep, and I personally getting a bit fatigued of the follow-ups and the overall game to acquire a Rolex. I have an Explorer from a local AD, and maybe my Rolex journey ends here. Sorry, man. Which brings me to my question. I've seriously been eyeing a Cartier Santos, something like the reference W2SA0030, gray dial two-tone, and I'm curious to know, one, what are your thoughts on two-tone watches? Have you owned any? Are they a bit too exquisite to wear casually? And two, knowing the bezel is a scratch magnet, have you ever used or seen the protective films you can apply to prevent scratches? I wouldn't wrap the whole watch, but would consider it for the bezel as long as it doesn't diminish the appearance. I'm a bit OCD in that regard. I get it, dude. And three, is there any movement, slight discount to get at Cartier AD? Something you could never dream of asking a Rolex AD. Love your new Santos. Hope you're enjoying it. And thanks as always for taking your time for these questions and providing your honest feedback. Two-tone watches, I don't know, man. I've said this before. I'm not a huge fan of two-tone. I don't know why. I'm just not. It's not that they're ugly. I think some of them are very beautiful. The Santos that you're talking about, it's nice, it's cool. If you like it, dude, that's all that matters. And those protective films, I've never used one. Never really had any desire to. The only reason why I would, like for instance, on maybe my GMT or my Datejust or whatever, I would anything with a polished buckle, I would probably put it on that, just to save it from any, desk wear or anything like that. But for the most part, no. Yeah, discount. If you're getting from a boutique, a Cartier boutique, you're not going to get a discount. But if you go to an AD that is also an AD for Cartier, then they will give you a discount. If you ask them nicely, maybe they will. So good luck with that, dude. But yeah, that's it, you guys. I appreciate it and hope you like and subscribe. Take care. We'll see you on the next one.